Harley Davidson, you're either going to go forward or you're going to die. Isn't that one of the biggest topics on social media, is if Harley Davidson's actually going to survive? And if you look at it short term, yeah, they're going to survive. You know, they got the 50% of the big bike market right now. The problem is, and I find this with every major company, is they're too busy in their numbers that they're ignoring totally what's on the ground. Harley, all you have to do is maybe and maybe you already do, but designate somebody to watch the social media. Watch some big influencers and gain some knowledge of what's going on in the street. Now, Sturgis, their numbers were down. Boy, has that been debated on social media the last freaking week, man. Everybody jumped on the trend and trying to give their 2 cents of what happened in Sturgis. Yes, it's the pricing. Yes, it's the freaking cops, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, what it was is the demographics. Let's be honest. A lot of younger generation, a lot of younger kids are not going to Sturgis. They're not going to Daytona. They're not going to all these bigger rallies because of cost. And you have a problem, Harley, if you don't address this, is the demographics. Now, you did great with coming out with the Pan America, man. You ventured off, you got out of your comfort zone, but it's no longer the outlaw bad image that you wrote off of for decades now. The whole mindset of how people approach motorcycles is totally different. You know, if you look at Millennials, Gen Z, they look at it as a form of transportation. They don't encompass a whole lifestyle. They want to know what they can do to save money on gas. And it sure to hell ain't to them a bagger or a freaking a road king, whatever, man. They're just not into that style of motorcycle. And if you would get off your corporate asses, you would know that if you got into the street level scene. Without doing that, you're going to wade so far where you're going to be holding your nutsack at the end of the day saying, oh, hell, what the hell happened? We're in bankruptcy now. Now, again, short term, everything's going to be okay. You're going to be suffering your numbers. Your sales have sucked. It's actually on a downward trajectory right now. You'd have looked that up anywhere you would like. But going into the future, say 10 years, when, you know, hell, guys like me are retiring out the freaking, and this is Generation X, not the boomers. They're already way on their way out. But you got Generation X, which was really the last generation who lived this lifestyle every day. Every breath was about the lifestyle. Millennials and Gen Zs ain't like that, man. So you got to address that issue. We're not going to be around but another 20 years. So what are you going to look like in 10 years if you don't get out of your freaking comfort zone? You have to start designing bikes that these younger kids like. Why do you think your competitors like Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, they're kicking your ass? And it's mostly kicking your ass on everything 700cc or below. Because let's be honest, you really don't have nothing to offer these guys. And your price point, yeah, you know, you got to keep up with inflation, all that good stuff. We get it. You got to make money. But you also can't price out the people you're trying to bring in. These kids can't even get a damn house anymore. And that's why you're seeing them live with their parents until they're 30, 40 years old. Because they can't afford nothing. So if they can't afford a house, a place to live, what makes you think they're going to afford something you got? So get your ass on the street and know what you're dealing with here. Your numbers are, I get it. You got to freaking impress your stockholders. It's a business. I get it. But going all the wrong way, man. You're saying, okay, we're going to introduce this, this, and this, but it's the same recycled crap. Year after year, that's one thing I never understood about people. That's why I always stuck with the older bikes and never even thought about buying a brand new one. Why? Because I'm going to buy a 2026 whatever, and it's, you know, you're going to introduce a model in 2027, the same damn bike, just with a change or two. You are trying to cater to generations that ain't going to help you forward in 10 years. And I'm surprised you pencil necks up there in Harley Davidson corporate don't understand that. I've been saying forever, you know, you came up with the Buell. I thought it was uglier than dog shit. I thought it was a completely worthless bike. And a lot of people would say, oh man, that was bringing in young. That's not going to bring in a younger generation, that kind of bike. You got to get into rockets, man. Come up with one, just like you did the Pan America, man. Test it out. Come up with a rocket that is affordable and that can compete against, say, a Busa. You want to get these kids' attention, man. Get something that can compete in the rocket freaking or the sport bike section of this motorcycle and all that good stuff. That's what they're wanting. Have you seen how these younger ones ride? They kill us older generations, man. They know what they're doing. You had a couple good years with the Dyna Bros. That's starting to come to an end. So why you seen how popular that was? Expand on it into a different motorcycle. Yes, you have to have your core base of motorcycles. Get it? I get it, man. But you also have to put out a different line of motorcycle and say, screw all you older asses. We have to do what we have to do to survive. That is the major problem I think I see in Harley Davidson, is they don't want to piss off the older core base. Well, that's too bad. You're in business. You got to survive 10 years from now. And if you don't start bringing in these younger ones, 10 years from now, what? They're 20 years old, 30 years old. They're already going to be embedded into Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki. That's going to be their choice of bike. And they're going to go up to the bigger ones, which I'm sorry, a lot of the Jap and foreign bikes are better than the heavier cruisers for Harley is. I'm sorry. Come on. We get it, man. A great air twin, you know, an air-cooled V-twin. We loved it. Yeah, 20, 30 years ago. Don't you think it'd start, thinking about getting some water-cooled in there? That's what they're looking for. I always see that problem in businesses, man. Always see it. Where they're always snubbing up, if you will, or kissing ass with their core base, thinking they're going to be there forever. It's just not going to happen. Everything has really changed. And you know what? I think the business atmosphere all over, just not Harley Davidson, has really changed in the consumer buying attitudes of a lot of people. People are pinching pennies right now, and they're looking for something more reliable. That's why you see, as far as automobiles, when I was a shop manager, everybody was bringing in freaking, for basic tune-up maintenance and stuff like that, bringing in foreign cars, Honda and Nissans and Toyotas. The ones with the major problems were Chevy, Fords, Dodge. They want something reliable. They want something that's going to last. And that's what you should really be building your strategy around. Like I said, I designate one person out of everybody to start watching everything on YouTube. Anytime Harley Davidson comes up, have them watching it, taking notes. That way you have your ear towards the street, man. And that's the way you're going to survive. So, is Harley facing its demise right now? No. But in 10 years? 20 years? Because they obviously seem like they don't want to change. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget YouTube, man. Insane Throttle Music. Check it out. Get your daily biker news over on Insane Throttle. Let me know in the comment section. Rock on.